Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Hope you're all having a great day. So today we're going to add an accessory to the KRX that, well, all new modern cars have today. And yes, all of them do have it. And even some side-by-side companies are even adding them to side-by-sides if you get the top-end model. And what is that? Well, if you read the title, it's a backup camera. So right here, they're about a dime a dozen. Got this one off Amazon. I'll post a link in the description below. But let's talk about it and then we're going to unbox it. So why am I adding the backup camera? Well, it's pretty simple. KRX is a great design, except for you can't see any of this at all. So you got the rear view mirror, which lets you see right up here, but what about down here? Especially when you're out rock crawling and rocky terrain, you need a backup. You can't see any of this. And I'm not even talking with the bigger tires. You just can't see. Now, if you're a longtime subscriber or viewer, you know that in the Pioneer I added a backup and front camera. That was also a DVR system, and it was a wired system. What does that mean? Well, it means the cameras were physically wired to the monitor, and it recorded video. Now, I never used any of that recording in my YouTube videos because, well, it just doesn't record at a high enough rate. When I record out here in the garage, I usually record in 2.7 or 4K, and then on the trails, to save a little bit of battery life and to save some memory space in the cards, I always film in 1080p, where these are usually 720. So this camera right here is a wireless backup camera. Now, why did I go wireless with the KRX and not wired like I did on the Pioneer? Well, a couple reasons. First of all, it's a lot easier, and the wireless has come a long way since 4, 5, 6 years ago. You don't get as much interference. Heck, they're using wireless cameras on motorhomes to upgrade old motorhomes so they don't have to run 30 or 40 feet of cable. So that's the first reason. Second reason, KRX is perfect for it because, well, if you recall, right back here you have a 12-volt power source from the factory, and I ran it down here to my license plate light. So that's where we're going to tap into. The camera is going to be put into the license plate light, and then the monitor's on the front. Let's go ahead, let me show you the unboxing real quick and show you the other reason I got this specific camera versus a wired camera. So as you can see, I've opened the box to look at it, but basically it comes with instructions. So this will tell you how to install it with all your wiring. It can't get much more simple than this. I mean, these cameras are really easy to install. So here is my monitor. Now what I like about this monitor is there's your antenna mounts, and then here is a plug. So I can pull this out when I'm going ahead to wash it. This is just a 12-volt plug. It also comes with some different wiring and mount features. So here is the mounts. Now I can take this and I can run a screw through this into the dash, but the reason I like this one is it is magnetic. So to pull it out, it's just magnetic. A lot of cell phones are held on by this way, and honestly, this doesn't weigh much more than my phone. So that's nice and easy to take out when I park it overnight in Moab or whatnot, so no one's gonna take it. And then when I wash it, I can just pop it out. So for the camera is right here. It lets you mount it either in front or behind the license plate. You can also adjust the camera, or I can just take this off, and that's probably what I'll do is I'll drill some holes to mount it behind the license plate, but when we get back there we'll figure it out. So this is the antenna. That's it. So I'll go ahead, probably run this up the wiring somewhere out of sight, out of mind. This is the 12-volt plug. So there's 4 little plugs in here, but this is where you're gonna be able to remove the camera right here to plug it in. So this is gonna be in the rear. We'll go ahead and we'll run this to our 12-volt power source, really simple. Now with these backup cameras, if you put them in a car or something, it's really easy. If you have a trailer hitch or something, like a 7-pin, it comes with these right here. You can go ahead and put it on the constant power. You can also add it to your reverse lights, so if it's on the car, so it just turns on automatically. We're not gonna do that. I like to solder everything in. For the front camera, you have a couple different options. That's right here. So I can go ahead and I can take this option here and I can go ahead and just hardwire it in, just like that. Or I can take this option and you have a push button. So now that you see how easy this is to install, let's go ahead, let's go over to the KRX and look for a nice place to mount the camera. So down here at the back of the KRX, looking for a spot for the camera, I definitely want to have it hidden behind this bumper because, well, back up something, it's going to crush it. I mean, it's a little too wide for a license plate bracket. I don't know if you can see that from up there or not, but honestly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right down here. I may have to flip the camera over, which really isn't a big deal, but what I'll do is I'll mark right here on each one of these, drill 2 holes, cut these tabs off, and then mount it through the bottom bolts of the license plate. Because the license plate, honestly, the bracket's not going anywhere. So we'll go ahead, I'll get this marked up, drilled out, and then we will wire it up, and I'll show you the front mount. So I went ahead, I got my holes drilled. As you can see, I'm just gonna take some tin snips and cut off these ears because they won't be needed. And that way everything's behind the license plate. Get that off there. And now I need to go ahead and take a file and just file these edges real quick so there's nothing sharp back there. Then we will find some bolts and get this mounted. So wiring in the camera is really pretty simple. Like I said, you have your antenna, you have your power wire. So first thing to do before I wire this in, I want to go ahead and get this mounted. So I went over to the parts bin. You know that random bucket of bolts that you got with a coffee can or a mason jar or something in your garage, because you're going to need those bolts one day that you probably never use, but you're going to carry them around for 10 years. Found a bolt. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, come up under here. We'll go ahead and get this on there, and we'll get the other side. I mean, coming good for something. Now that the camera is mounted on, we're going to go ahead and get the wires run. So like I said earlier, this is your antenna. This is the plug that's going to plug into here. Now I obviously don't need 8-10 feet of cable, but you do need this plug here. And there's 2 arrows that line it up, arrow, arrow, but it only fits in one way. There's a groove. So what I'm going to end up doing is running this up just like I did here. And we're gonna go over to this plug and let me show you where that's at. So up under the fender, here is the factory plug with 12-volt power that all it's doing is powering my license plate lights as LEDs. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to cut these zip ties, run that wire up, pull these 2 out, these 2 connectors, and put 2 new connectors on with my ground and my positive right there. That way, when I come back over here, this will run, and then we'll go ahead and I'll get the right angle and we will tighten this up once we get the monitor installed. So to go ahead and finish up this install, we have to mount the monitor. So for the ease of this video, I'm going to go ahead and use this 12-volt power adapter, but honestly in the future I'll probably pull a dash and go to the bus bar right behind that center console with the other adapter it comes with. But super simple to install this, so I'm going to step inside. So I've already gone ahead and I have put my suction cup mount right here, and I have suctioned it down. See, it moves just like this. Now this is a magnet mount. How sturdy it is, I don't know. I may have to look at other options in the future, but right now I'm going to go ahead and run this. And as you can see, I've put the antenna and I've just kind of folded it back a little bit. So go ahead, plug that in there, and plug this into our 12-volt power. Now, there's not going to be any power to this because this power and that power is going to be keyed on. So let's go ahead and turn the key on and see what we get. Okay, so being that this is magnetic mounts, I can pull this out as long as I have my cable, and I can show everyone that it works. Now, there is some buttons on the back that will let you adjust it. You can actually take these backup lines, turn them on and off. In this current position, I have the camera angled as far down as I possibly can. But if you remember, I put that mount upside down on the bottom of the license plate. Typically you'd have it at the top, but that's where the lights are for my license plate. So not too bad. And when I'm driving, it's in a nice driving position. So as I'm sitting here, I can see everything just fine. So this will give me great visibility when I'm backing up over obstacles or just coming out of a parking spot. And then again, it's all works off the key, even when you put it onto that bus bar, so that you can just turn it off and it goes off. Now that the camera install is done, and I must say it worked out pretty well, especially for the price and the ease of install. I mean, it only took about 20 minutes. The hardest part was connecting the 12-volt power here. That was really pretty easy. We're gonna do one more upgrade while we're here. Now, if you watched some of my earlier videos on the KRX, I got a really cheap Jeep roof for the KRX. Now, does it fit perfectly? No, but it has served me very well. It keeps the sun off me, it keeps it nice and quiet on the inside, even though this machine is very loud, but it doesn't reverberate the sound down. The one downfall is, well, when it rains, you get wet. Now, I know I only run a half windshield, but I mean, even when you go inside your camper, you gotta throw a tarp or something over it to keep the rain off your seats. And now that they have the radio and the intercom in there, and this camera, even though I can pull the monitor out, I like just a little bit more protection. So what I do, I went out and I got the cheapest roof I could find. That is a one-piece roof. So let's go ahead and open it up. I'll tell you the brand, and let's see how well it installs. I mean, it was only like $149 and free shipping, which is way cheaper than the Kawasaki roof, which runs around $300. So open up your box, you get the nice roof, get your instructions, you get some foam, you get a sticker. So if you're wondering, it's a UTV Zilla roof. Yep, cheapest I could find. Basically, it is a 1/4-inch piece of ABS plastic with a couple bends on the end. That is it. And really, that is all that you need. And then for the mounting brackets, it just comes literally, looks like cable ties that you would use. Goes around your roll cage, and then some hardware. So first thing to do for the install is we gotta get the old one off. Pretty simple, it's just held on by some bungees and zip ties, so let's go ahead and get that off. Old roof's off. So first step installing this roof is putting the foam on the back side. So you have to determine what's the top and what's the bottom, and it's really pretty easy. So if you look at it, this is gonna be the bottom. There's a little lip that kicks out to keep the rain off the back. And the same thing on the front here, there's a little lip. So what I did is I went ahead, and you're probably not gonna be able to see it in the camera, as I set it up on the roof, lined up the holes, and then I just drew a line on the inside of about where the foam should go. So the way this mounts is there's 4 of those clips that go around the roll bars, 2 bigger, 2 smaller, and there's 4 bolts that go in the corners that utilize the factory holes up there. So make sure there's nothing mounted to those holes. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put the foam on this real quick. You can see that one of the straps goes here, so you're gonna want the foam on the inside. That's one of their mounting points. Now that I have the foam on the roof, the next thing to do is go ahead and put my clamps on. Remember, the 2 bigger ones go on the sides. I know it's not gonna be easy to tell on camera, but it is fairly easy. So when you put them on, it's gonna go like this, and you are gonna have to bend them into shape. They'll go like this. You're gonna go ahead and set these on first before you put the roof on. The roof, real quick, let's talk about it. It is nice 1/4-inch ABS plastic, but it is not gonna be the most durable. So when I opened it up, I've scratched it a couple times with my utility knife, which I expected. It is not as durable as your plastic skid plates, but it will let stuff slide over, such as tree branches, rocks, and whatnot. Oh, and don't forget, it's half the price of a factory one with free shipping, and it should do just fine job keeping everything off of me when it comes to the sunlight and rain and whatnot. So we'll go ahead, we'll throw these up, and we'll slide that up and bolt it on. Now, one thing to consider when you're putting these on is if you have added any other aftermarket accessories, such as me, with, you know, rear view mirrors or any of that stuff, because this is gonna sit flush, almost a flat, low profile roof, you will not be able to have any clamps on this roll bars. Now, I do have the small grab handle over here, which should fit because it's cloth, but you're not gonna be able to have any of the big light bracket clamps and whatnot on here because, well, this roof just sits flat. It's not like the factory one where it sits up just a little bit and you get some air gaps. Now, this is pretty easy. It's only like 15 pounds. So installing this is pretty easy. It comes with 8 M4 Allen head bolts, 16 washers, so you have a bolt, washer, slide it through, washer, nuts, and 8 11mm nuts. So first you're gonna do is just get everything lined up and slide it through. Remember, in the corners, you're going to go ahead and use the OEM holes all the way around. And then on the sides, you'll go ahead and use the clamps. And then once you get all these in, go ahead and get them all tightened up. Well, for the price of the roof, $149 and free shipping, I really can't complain. Install, like I said, is 10-15 minutes. As you can see, I did get this underneath here. Make sure you don't over tighten the bolts. As you can see, I did right there. But not real rattles. The only rattles I have are stuff I already had. I did have to move my side view mirror over. Well, there you have it. There's our install. Today we did a cheap roof, 149 bucks, free shipping. Can't really complain on that. Low profile, I like that. I like it's gonna keep the rain out. It does flex a little bit, as you can see right here with the mounts, but not a big deal. We'll see how well it holds up in the future. And then we did the backup camera, and this is probably the easiest backup camera I've ever installed, especially with Kawasaki giving you that 12 volt power out back. For the monitor, well, heck, it's right there, magnetic mounts, and you have a couple options. I went ahead just for the video and I put it in the 12 volt outlets, but here in the future I will go ahead and I will wire it into the bus bar behind this dash. Really easy. Kawasaki did a great job with that. Would I do them again? Absolutely. Time will tell how well these two products will hold up, but the backup camera I'm really excited to have because, well, they're just a great safety feature. Let you see what's directly behind you so you don't hit an animal or a small child or drop into a hole that you don't know is there, and it'll help you back up in a sticky situation without getting a spotter. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and until next time.